Am I live? I think I'm live. I'm gonna wait to see if some people jump on. I'm trying to get this TV to act right. So I'll wait for some people to jump in and see how people are feeling about everything that's going on in our country. Hey, I see someone jumped on. You see what the subject is about? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Just kind of wanted to check the temperature of just everyday people to see how people are feeling about the state of this nation. If you just want to hang out and listen, then I guess we'll just wait till a couple of more people jump on because I really want to talk about the chaos and the craziness that's going on regarding this war, regarding the MAGA civil war, um, and the fact that our allies are very disinterested in helping or assisting. And I understand, considering our president decided that he was going to antagonize them and berate them and tariff them and all of the things. And now that he apparently wants their help, they're saying no, thank you. And I also want to talk about how intellectually dishonest it is for people to insinuate or push the narrative that you somehow want America to fail if you don't agree with an illegal, unconstitutional war, if you don't agree with how our allies have been treated. And now that we need their help, we expect them to just help and drop everything, which is asinine. Think about in your regular everyday life, somebody disrespects you and treats you poorly and charges you more than what you owe them and do all of these things to you. And then they turn around and demand your help. How illogical that is. And so I just want to see how everyday people feel about everything that's going on in this country. Also, I've been hearing people say like older people are more in favor of this war with Iran more so than younger people. It seemed like younger people, people who know that they're going to have to foot the bill, um, those people are just kind of saying no. We don't want any more wars, no more regime change wars. In this country, it's so many things that needs to be fixed and given attention to and all of these things. So it's very no like I don't believe that Trump has done it for this reason, but it's a very noble thing to want to go and help other nations, to free other people. Like that is, everybody with a conscience and with morality can get on board with. But I don't believe that it was done to free the Iranian people and to help and assist the Iranian people. That doesn't even track with this administration. So the fact that this administration tried to sell us on that, the fact that they were like going in to save Iran and save the Iranian people, that doesn't even track with this administration. This administration don't even have any interest in saving Americans. So the fact that they wanted to convince us that this was about saving the Iranian people, yeah, no, nobody's buying that. Also, I wanted to talk about the MAGA Civil War, the fact that we have on one side, and I made a video about this, but on one side, we have Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene. On the other side, we have people like Lindsey Graham, Mike Huckabee, and apparently, what is the other person's name? Oh, Ben Shapiro. So we have those people, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, are very opposed to this war. Even Tucker Carlson said that he was heartbroken by it. And then you have, and apparently Pierce Morgan is another person that is kind of like in Trump's orbit or whatever, that apparently he's opposed to the war as well. And then you have people like Lindsey Graham, who is in favor of it. Ben Shapiro, which of course we know that he's a huge ally of Israel. So we know that Ben Shapiro is in favor of it. And Mike Huckabee, from my understanding, he's in favor of it. But I want to know what people, I think, like, overall, the American people are opposed to it. Like I said, I've heard, because I've been watching a lot of coverage, and I've heard that like older Americans, older Republicans, older right-leaning people are in favor of the war. But those people, you got to think about this, and this is how I look at things. Who's going to foot the bill? If there's a 75-year-old that's in favor of the war, I don't care about that person being in favor, to be extremely honest, because you're more than likely you're not going to be here to foot the bill for all of these regime change wars, and we having $1 trillion+ deficit and all of those things. You're not going to be here to foot the bill. You're not going to be here to pay for that. So I'm not really concerned with what you think. And if you watch Fox News, and Fox News is the only source of information that you get, I definitely don't respect anything you have to say, you feel, or you think. Fox News had to pay $787.5 million for lying to their viewers. I am not watching a channel or program that had to pay almost $1 billion for lying to me. So for me, people who still watch Fox News, to me, it's like, you want to be lied to, and God bless your testimony. That's your business. If that's what you're into, then good for you. But I can't take you seriously. Like, I can't. I think most of media is dishonest. But when someone had to pay out almost $1 billion, that is an indication that it was really, really bad and really, really egregious. And so I think people who intentionally choose to watch Fox News, maybe you enjoy being lied to, and that's your thing. But yeah, I can't get with it. Hey, Anthony, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. You guys make sure to like the live. So I just wanted to, instead of making a video, I just wanted to talk to people to see, and I kind of wanted to do this like as a placeholder, for, people to just get off what they need to get off, talk about what they need to talk about. How do you feel about the MAGA Civil War? How do you feel about the fact that our allies is basically saying, no, thank you, we're not interested, not our clown, not our circus. And also the Iran war. Like, what do you feel about that? I hope you are doing well. Yes, I am doing very well. Thank you very much, Anthony. How you doing? I don't blame our allies. I do not blame our allies. You got to remember, Donald Trump started his administration putting tariffs on everyone, even our allies, even people who were, closest our closest allies, like the people we had the best relationships with. He started putting tariffs on people, started talking to people crazy, calling people out their names. See, the thing is, he think that everybody else in the world is just like the Republican Party, where they're gonna just bend over for him. No matter what he do, no matter what he say, no matter how combative and antagonistic and disrespectful he is, they're gonna just still do whatever he want. And so he feels like, because he lives in such a bubble, that he can go around and be disrespectful to everybody, and they're just still gonna fall at his feet. And now that he need our allies in this Iran war, and they're saying no thank you, he's like shocked. You can tell Donald Trump is shocked because he's so arrogant. He's so egotistical. He's so like, he thinks that everyone is Lindsey Graham and JD Vance, the people who just going to bow down to him and say, give me more beatings. Like, whatever you do to me, give it to me more. He thinks everybody's going to do that. And now our allies is saying, no, thank you. He's shocked. But that's what happens when bullies finally meet their match. And so I don't like this rhetoric, and I don't like what's being pushed. Like, if you understand why our allies are not jumping on board, then somehow you want America to fail. No, absolutely not. I don't like those. Those things are not, they're just not intellectually honest. So just waiting for some people to jump on. Anthony said, I know I wouldn't help anyone that thinks they tell everybody what to do. Yeah, and furthermore, we got to think about it. These are the people he just put tariffs on for no reason. Like, remember how combative he was to Canada, one of our greatest allies, one of the closest relationships we have. How he was threatening them, telling them that he was going to tariff them, and he was going to do this and he was going to do that, and all of these things. Now you need these people help, and it's like you're confused why they don't want to help you. It's like, and and you know what? Here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to say unapologetically. The Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Tucker Carlsons and the Megyn Kellys who say that they are so heartbroken by this, the fact that they feel like that Trump, he abandoned them. No, like, he was always this person. Like, the fact that any of them think that he has any kind of loyalty to them is disturbing to me. Like, he's literally has disrespected, like, remember the thing he said about Megyn Kelly, like she was bleeding from her whatever, or the reason she gave him a hard time because she was on her menstrual cycle. Like, the fact that you ever came around and started being back in favor of somebody that would speak to you like that and disrespect you like that. But you know what? They had a common cause. And this is the reason why I don't have, like, I can give them their little credit and say, yeah, you said the right thing at this particular time. But the reason I will never, ever, ever, ever feel sorry for Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson is because you guys knew about, like, you knew all of his racism, his bigotry, the way he would speak about certain people, telling people to go back to where they came from, even though they were born here in the United States. You knew about all of his character flaws. You knew what type of person he was. But because you guys have the same ideologies, because you support those very nefarious bad things, then it's like, okay, we know that he's like a bad person. We know that he's like, he speaks to people really poorly. We know that he's racist. We know that he's a bigot. We know this, we know that, but we're okay with those things. We're not offended by those things. So we're still going to stick by him. Now that he's doing something that you find objectionable, now it's like you want to yell, scream, and you want everybody to understand why you have an issue. But when other people have issues, you call them snowflakes, or they're playing a race card, or all of those things. So I don't feel bad for any of them, because just like the message I showed on my community board by Plas, it's like they were okay with his white people first, white agenda. They were cool with that. And so now he's doing something that they find objectionable. We all supposed to be outraged. We've been outraged. We've been feeling like this was the worst shit ever. You just got on board. So Anthony said Trump isn't never dealt with a real person in his life. He has always dealt with crap eaters. He has never dealt with anyone who would tell him he's full of crap to his face. Yeah, and even with JD Vance. So JD Vance apparently has spoke out against invading Iran, right? Like going into Iran and starting a war with Iran in the past. So there was a reporter that asked him a question and was just like, so what do you feel about Donald Trump basically declaring war, going into Iran without congressional approval, all of these things? And JD Vance go, you're trying to cause a wedge between me and the president. No, I'm trying to get you to be consistent with your rhetoric and your language and with your ideologies and your perspectives, because you said you were very definitive and clear about you not supporting this war before. But now that you're the vice president and you have no spine and all you care about is power, not the country, now you can't say what you said before. Just like he's on record for calling Trump America's Hitler. And now you're his vice president. These people literally have no conscience. They have no souls. They have no morality. They're not consistent with anything because the only thing they care about is power. So it's like, no, I'm not trying to get you to draw a wedge between you and the president. I'm trying to get you to be intellectually consistent. But you can't do that because all you care about is power. And you believe that you're going to be the next president. But I got news for JD Vance and Marco Rubio. Donald Trump's coat is not transferable. There are some people that are going to side with JD Vance, but Donald Trump that's a cultist personality. That does not transfer. Think about Charles Manson. Nobody, regardless if you was Charles Manson's best friend, when people are in a cult, they have a loyalty to that one person. It's not necessarily ideology. It's not necessarily about principle, because you have to think about all of these people that are in MAGA who were yelling America first, which means like for the most part, they don't believe in regime change wars. There are some of those same people that are now clapping for the Iran war. So they changed all of their ideologies regarding what they change all of their perspectives because this one man decided something different. That is not transferable. That type of cultist behavior is not transferable. So Marco Rubio or JD Vance thinking that they're going to just come in and sweep up Donald Trump's coat. And then you also got to understand this. The reason people say things like Donald Trump was able to get people to come out that never came out, that never really cared about politics, is because it's about the character, the personality. It's not necessarily about policy. It's not necessarily about an agenda. So it's not like, oh, I'm a Republican. It's no, I care about Donald Trump. So the minute Donald Trump is no longer there, those people are not going to be there. So JD Vance and Marco Rubio and all these people who think, oh, that MAGA's just going to come over to me. That's not how it works. And I don't understand why they are not smart enough or they don't have enough depth to understand that's not how it works. So, you know what's so disturbing about it though, Anthony? It's like a lot of the people like your Megyn Kellys, your Tucker Carlson, I'm pretty sure they find Trump objectionable, not because they're good people, but the only reason why they stay close to him because they know he's like a person, like a kid, right? You tell your child, if you be good the whole day, I'll give you a cookie. So the child is only being good because they want the cookie. Their fealty is to the cookie, not to just being like, that's the reason why I don't believe that you kind of like, what is it? You don't bribe your kids into behaving. You're going to behave because I raised you well and I'm your mother and I'm telling you to do it because I know what's best for you and I love you, not because I'm going to give you anything. Because then your loyalty becomes to whatever it is I'm promising you. not the fact that I raised you well and I've instilled values and morals into you and you know what's right. So with Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, they don't have a fealty to Trump. They have a fealty to whatever it is that he promised them, whatever power they think they're going to get from him or whatever. And all of his bad behavior, his racism, his bigotry, his xenophobia, him being really horrible to people, they're bad people too. So that stuff is not objectionable to them. They don't care about that stuff. But this Iran war, this is something they actually care about. And that's the reason that it is so easy to kind of like, they call themselves criticizing him, but they're not like really going out there. Like they'll say little things, but they're not just kind of gonna like full blown, because they know they can still get things out of him. They know whatever, like whether it's power, whether it's being in his good grace so that they can get more views or whatever it is, they feel like they can still work him. And that's the reason why they're not going to go completely off and say, I think he's the worst person ever or whatever, because they still want the power. So it's not even a matter of they support him because they feel like he's a great president. I don't think it's any of that. I don't think they think he's a great president. I just think that they know he's going to serve them in some type of way, whether it's power, whether it's him saying their name, whatever it is they want, whatever it is, they feel like they can still get that from him. So they're going to be on his side. Anthony said even when they were having the Republican primaries for the election, the dummies running against him wouldn't criticize him or his policy. It is a cultist personality. And that's the reason why I do not understand why J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio feel like it's going to transfer. You got I used to watch and I don't know if you guys ever watched like Charles Manson. But I watched like a couple of those specials and I'm like, I don't know. It's weird, but if you think about it, MAGA is like that. It's whatever he say, whatever he believes, whatever he thinks. If he don't say it, if he says it's fake news, then it's fake news. It is very, very disturbing. And I always say this, I don't think America is dealing with the fact that we're literally living through, I wouldn't say half of the country, but like 35% of the country being very much cultists. Whatever this person say, it's like he's their God. It is very, very, very disturbing. So Anthony said, how you going to run against him and scared to say how full of crap he is. Yeah, and even with J.D. Vance, like here's the thing with J.D. Vance. So I've seen like people say so many different things about J.D. Vance and the Republican Party is not going to support him because his wife is a minority. I believe there are some people in the Republican Party that will not support him because his wife is, what is she? I think she's like Indian, I believe. I 100% believe that. And I'm pretty sure J.D. Vance knows that that's a section of the Republican Party. And I remember Nick Fuentes, whatever his name is, I think he said it. I think he blatantly said it. Like, I wouldn't support J.D. Vance because his wife is Indian. Like, so that's a section of the Republican Party. And so people start floating, that he was going to divorce her. And I don't get into all of that when he's talking about people, family, and stuff like that. But I don't think J.D. Vance, I know people think that he's is going to be able to easily take Donald Trump's place. I don't think that cults transfer. Lola, no, out. My golden doodle broke my YSL glasses. I paid a lot of money for those glasses. I don't know what got into her because she's old enough. She don't even break stuff anymore. She don't even do, how puppies just do things. She's grown out of that for the most part. But she broke my glasses today and I'm putting her out of my room. Get out, mama. She's not even going to get out. She's stressing me out. No, I'm mad at you. No, Lola, go downstairs. Go, Lola. Thank you. I am mad at you. He wouldn't criticize. Anthony said, how you going to run against it? Oh, I read that. Hey, Motivated. Hey, sis. Motivated said, hey, sis, and chat. Hit the like button. It's free. Yes. Make sure you guys like the live. Motivated speaking to Anthony. Anthony speaks to Motivated. Motivated said, but at what point will it get old? That co-life is crazy. Yeah, I don't think they can help themselves. I literally don't think they can help themselves. Do you think Kamala Harrison is any better than I don't know who Kamala Harrison is. Anthony said, motivated. A lot of them would be ashamed to admit how foolish they are to go for that bull crap in the beginning. However, I mean, in beginning, especially with so many people telling the real how full of crap he is. Majority of MAGA voters don't even support Donald Trump anymore. As an ex-Donald Trump supporter, I'm not voting for JD Vance because I think he's a plant. Anthony says, too late to not support Trump now. They have put him in a position to do so much damage. All that I don't support Trump now is garbage. He's in power now. Yeah, I don't. It's so weird. Like, when I see their videos, like, to be honest, and maybe I need to grow up, but I watch their videos and I laugh. That what is it? I regret my vote. This man has been in political life for more than a decade. He has been horrific. He's been the least presidential, person ever. So the fact that in 2026 is like, well, I don't support him anymore. The damage is done. The damage is done. Like, do you realize the United States of America, we have the best army in the entire world, right? We have the greatest army in the entire world. We are a superpower. We are the United States of America, and we have allies that won't even come to our aid because of how poorly they were treated. Like, I don't think that people really understanding how significant these things are. Like, we're spending $1 billion a day to fight a war that has absolutely nothing to do with us, while we have veterans on the side of the road holding up signs. Like, the fact that people are just like, I don't support him anymore. See, I get too worked up because it's asinine. Like, the fact that you support the first administration, I mean, and I knew a lot of his dealings, like in his personal life. I knew about him not renting to black people. I knew about the Central Park Five. I had already known how horrible of a person he was. So, of course, I wasn't going to vote for him anyway, because I had already knew about a lot of his personal dealings. But after COVID, after we lost 1 million Americans, after telling people to go back to where I'm like, he's done some very atrocious things. The fact that people supported him a second time, I literally can't wrap my mind around it. Like, literally. Anthony said the army is no good if a buffoon is in charge. Yeah, but you know what? This is what I was banking on, and this is what I was Motivated said, take a breath, sis. We know he'll learn. Yeah, that's what I try. I promise. I try to, because I sit and think about stuff, and I think about it from the perspective of my niece. My niece is 7 years old. She's everything to me. I don't have my own kids, so she's like my child. And I think about the things that I mean, me too, because it's not like, it's not like I'm over the hill or whatever. So it's like I'm gonna have to, deal with a lot of the things that are gonna come from his administration, how much debt we're in and all of the things. But I think about my niece too. I think about my niece is gonna have less rights than I have or I had. I just think about a lot of shit and I get upset. Anthony said, I always knew he was full of crap. Yeah, I knew about the Central Park Five was the reason why I could never, ever, ever, ever support him. But we know in America, that's not a deal breaker. Lying on black and brown people, trying to get black and brown people unalived, it's not a deal breaker. It's, kind of what happens here. So that wasn't a deal breaker for a lot of people. But I mean, a lot of the things, people vote women. Women voted for him after he said he can grab women by their private parts and he can do whatever he want. And even think about this. After, because he was mentioned over 1 million times in those files, his support for MAGA didn't drop significantly. Think of the things that he was accused of. And I kept saying this when I was driving home. I'm like, a lot of people who want to say they no longer support Trump, they try to kind of extract themselves from him. But how can you extract yourself from somebody who you knew had really, really poor character and really horrible character, and you supported them anyway? Like, what does that say about you? Like, let's just have a real conversation. Because me personally, I care about, I care about my money and I care about low taxes and all of those things, but character is more important to me. Being a decent person is more important to me than, all of those other political, ideologies or whatever. Like, being a good person is actually a priority. And the fact that people was just like, well, I mean, it's not like we were trying to, like, whatever. People were like, he's not my pastor, but he's the president. He's the person that people are supposed to look up to and think highly of. So yeah, let me read y'all comments, because I get like way off and I don't read the comments. Damien said, what did Donald Trump do that was so horrible as a human before he became president? Oh, okay. So, first of all, the not renting to black people, saying black people were stupid, unintelligent. He would never have them as his accountant, because they're dumb. Trying to get 5 black and brown boys unalived for a crime they didn't commit. Like, he said he was going to grab women by their vaginas. Like, what? Like, I can't even think of all the things that he's done, but he's done some pretty objectionable things before he became president. But I guess it depends on your level of morality. Like, some people are able to stomach a lot of those things and think none of it. I'm not one of those people. I apologize. I was raised correctly. My bad. Motivated said, I think about healthcare or the lack thereof constantly very disturbing. It is. Are you telling me you don't know who Kamala Harrison is? He keeps saying Kamala Harrison, but trying to check me. And bro, yeah, no, I'm not a bro, but okay, bro, you're telling, YouTube is so funny. Bro, you're telling me you don't know who Kamala Harrison is. If you didn't vote for Donald Trump, you should have voted for Kamala Harrison. She was the woman that ran against him. There's no Kamala Harrison. There's no Kamala Harrison, Buki. And see, you go, let me, child. Anthony said, Damien, his habitual liar and fraud and cheat documentation goes back decades. Yeah, several decades. Several. But I still don't know who Kamala Harrison is. So, there's that. Motivator said, I was at the ER with the family member yesterday and just watched people and wondered who had medical coverage and who didn't. Shameful. And this is the USA. Anthony said, I started to get rid of him for calling a woman bro. Yeah, I mean, Anthony, let me find out he was trying to check me all the while saying her name wrong. Trump said he loves the, never mind. See, I'm trying to be nice. But yeah, I don't know who Kamala Harrison is. I don't know. I don't know who that was. And they said, that's like saying Ronald Trump. Exactly. Because and this, what's so crazy is like a person would try to check you and act like you don't know what you're talking about because they're saying something wrong. Like, okay. But Kamala Harris would have been a much, 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 much better choice. But, like I said, and I said this earlier, I said, people want to extract themselves from Donald Trump, but America needs to look at themselves. Like, America needs to look at herself, because why would a person like him with his character be allowed to be our president? That's a reflection on the nation. Whether people want to agree with it or not, whether they want to believe it or not, that's a reflection on this nation. So Anthony timed somebody out. Was that the guy that said Kamala Harrison? And I don't know what he said because Anthony timed him out. And you're able to do your biggest one on this channel. If you could delete him and block him forever, Anthony, do your thing. But yeah, anybody got time. So yeah, I was watching, what was I watching earlier? Motivated. She hit a nerve. What did he say? He said something bad. Oh, well, I don't want to know what he said because then I'll start to respond to that instead of what I actually want to say. So I was watching Pondering Politics. I told you guys about Pondering Politics, right? But I was watching Pondering Politics, and I have like a low key love hate relationship because I really like his content, but I didn't like the fact that he went after Jasmine Crockett the way that he did. Andrew, I think there should be a test to be in political office. Started talking about abortions. Oh, okay. Oh, he wanted to. Oh, but wait a minute. But see, here's the thing about people like him. He wants to say, that Kamala Harris, I guess, was in support of, abortions. Okay, you can be against that, but so far we've had like what, 14, 15 soldiers that were unalived in a war that has absolutely nothing to do with us. Like if you're gonna be pro-life, be pro-life. Be pro-life. Be pro-life like once a woman has a child, that you're actually going to help her and assist her with childcare and all of those things so that she can be able to go to work and be productive. And you're going to give like food supplements. You want to take away SNAP and Medicaid and Medicare, and you want to demonize people who need assistance, but then you want to force those same people to have babies that you don't want to help them with. And you're willing to support this president who decided to go into a war that has absolutely nothing to do with the United States of America and is getting our soldiers unalive. Don't come talking to me about pro-life, because pro-life for them stops once the baby gets here. It's like, we're going to force you to have the baby, but if you can't provide for a child and you can't sufficiently like give this child a good life, oh, we don't have nothing to do with that. We just wanted to make sure that the baby get here. We didn't say we was going to help you with the baby once the baby was here. And a lot of people who say that they're pro-life also believe in a death penalty. You're not God. So who are you to determine when somebody should go? Now, me personally, I agree with the death penalty because I think some people are like irredeemable, like you can't fix them. But I'm not telling people what to do with their uteruses either. So it's so funny to me when right-leaning people swear that they are pro-life, but they're pro-uterus. That's what they are. Like they're pro, or not even pro-uterus. They're pro telling you what to do with your uterus. Because once the baby get here, they don't want to assist or help the mothers in any way. But child, God bless his testimony. Andrew, I think there should be a test to be in political office. Yeah, absolutely. I think you should, like, to me, character is just extremely important. I am not saying I am a perfect person by any means. Like I tell people all the time, I am healing, I am not healed. I will curse you out and then go home and pray about it. So I'm not saying you have to be like, a person who's never done anything wrong, but to have such an objectionable character, like to be such a crappy person and to run a nation, it just seemed like that shouldn't be. I don't know. I just feel like that shouldn't be the case. Anthony said, start talking about abortion. Motivated said, I agree. Anthony said, I watch him too. Yeah, I love Pondering Politics, but I don't know if you was on the live when I was talking about, and I think I did a video about this too. He kind of, him and a lot of other left-leaning content creators kind of pissed me off with Jasmine Crockett, because I feel like this unfortunately happens to Black people, period, but Black women in particular. And I've said this before. It's like this country wants our labor, just not our leadership. Like Jasmine Crockett is, and that race with James Tallarico for the Senate seat in Texas, she was the most qualified, the most accomplished. She had already done the work. She had already been in the state house. She was at the U.S. House of Representatives, and the woman was out there on the front lines already doing the work. And the fact that she didn't win the primary, it was indicative of what we already know in this country. You got to be damn near perfect. Like with Obama, think about Obama. Obama made some choices. I think he was a very good president, but there were some things that he did that I wasn't on board with. But he had to damn near be perfect. in order to be president. And that allowance is not, we don't get the same kind of I don't know what the right word is. We don't get the same as other people where it's like you can be a flawed person. People who said what things about Jasmine Crockett was just like, oh, well, she's not electable. What do you mean she's not electable? What exactly does that mean? And when you dig into it, it's all about race. It's about race and the fact that she had a vagina. Because in regards to her education, her credentials, the fact that she was fighting for this country, the fact that she was a phenomenal messenger, like the only thing that boiled down to when people say she's not electable is the fact that she's a black woman. That's just what it is. And that's the reason why I always tell people we have to work twice as hard to get half of what they have. And then they have the audacity to call somebody a DEI. You know what's DEI? The entire Trump administration. Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem. These people are the most unqualified people I've ever seen. If you look at the people who were in those positions before them, those people had 20 years of experience and they've worked for this department, and they worked at the Department of Agriculture, they worked at the Department of Defense, they've done all of these things, and then they became whatever that Kristi Noem position or Pete Hegseth position. Pete Hegseth was a Fox News host on the weekend. He wasn't even an anchor during the week. Like he was like you know what? And Kristi Noem, the puppy Grim Reaper, like she was in charge of DH. Like it's laughable. Like when you think about it, it's laughable, but because it's so serious, it's scary. And those are the people that have the nerve to run around calling people DEIs. Really. Let me see, where did I leave off? And I think people should, Anthony said, I watch him too, pondering, when I was talking about pondering politics. Anthony said, and I think people should start out in local politics and move up through the ranks. That way they have a voting record. Yeah, and I believe that there should be term limits on everything. There should be term limits on everything, even the Supreme Court. I just believe that. I believe that. Like, I believe there should be term limits because you have people that's sitting in office for 20 or 30 years. They're millionaires. They don't have any idea what their constituents are actually going through because they don't live the same lives as their constituents. You know what I always wanted to see when I was thinking about reality TV? I'm like, they should make a show where the CEO of a company has to switch lives for like a month with the person that gets paid the least. Like, think about this. The CEO of Walmart has to live on a salary of a cashier for a month. For 1 month. Like, if you are the CEO of Walmart, and I'm pretty sure you're a millionaire times, 100 times over, whatever. He may be worth $100 million, let's say. I don't know how much the man is worth, but I'm pretty sure he got a whole bunch of money. You worth $100 million. And for 1 month, you have to live off the salary of somebody who makes $8.75 an hour. That's a show that I would love to watch. And I want to see that person. They basically switch lives. So the person, the cashier gets to live the CEO's life for a month. The CEO has to live the cashier's life for a month. It should be the same with politicians. If politicians had to change lives with their poorest constituent, a person that lives in their district, right? Somebody who works at Walmart or whatever and make $9 an hour. You're a politician and you're worth $70 million. You are basically like making decisions about this person's life that you know nothing about because you live a very, very different life. Money is not everything. Money is actually not nothing. The closer you get to God, you realize that money it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a means to an end. I use money to pay my mortgage, to help my family, but it don't make you better. It don't make you smarter. It don't make you more worthy. It's not meaningful when you're talking about character and who you are at your core, right? But it is a means to an end. I can't buy things. I can help people and all of those things. So if the CEO of Walmart had to see what it's like to live off $10 an hour, I bet things will change. if he don't unalive himself within that month. Because people who have money like that, who have resources and access, they wouldn't even know how to navigate. Like, think about you going from $100 million to like having $40 in your account until you get paid. That is a completely different life. And these politicians that are sitting in Washington, becoming millionaires, making all this money, have no idea what the people in their district are actually experiencing and going through. And that's the reason why I feel like, if you like, senators have 6 years, House of Representatives have 2 years. So House of Representatives can get what they can get, I don't know, 4 or 5 terms, maybe 10 years at the max. Senator, you only can be a senator twice. You shouldn't be able to sit in Washington for 25 years and become a millionaire off the backs of people that are actually struggling, and you're making decisions about their lives and you don't know anything about their lives or anything about what they actually have to endure and deal with on a daily basis. But you're making legislation and you're making like these like regulations and rules over their lives. So that's what I want to see on TV. Reality, the only reality TV I want to watch is somebody do a show. It could be called, like, I don't know, it'll be called Swap or something. Job Swap. I don't know. And let a CEO live the life of a cashier. Let's see how that'll work out. I already read that. Damien watches Fox News and think he has memorized their talking point. Damien can go. You know what? I was about to tell Damien where he can go. He better be glad I want to get very close to God, so he better tread lightly when I'm working on my relationship. Anthony said Trump has messed this country up and may never be back to merit again. It's, you know what's, I think, the most disturbing part, and Van Jones, which I'm not a really big fan. I definitely have my critiques of him, but he was basically like, you can't even go anywhere out of the country without people looking at you crazy because of all the stuff that's going on in this country. And that's sad. That's sad when you go to another country and people realize you're an American and then they just automatically hate you. It's crazy. Motivated says standards are different. Yes. I forgot I know what you're talking about though. I was trying to get it's very different for us and the way that we're treated, what's demanded of us, and all of those things. So yes. Anthony said, Angel, what would people have done if Obama was at the desk in the Oval Office wearing a raggedy baseball cap? Child, they would have lost their shit. They would have lost it. If Obama had done 30% of the things that Donald Trump has done, they would have impeached, the Democrats and the Republicans would have worked together to impeach him and to remove him from office. Not only impeach him, they would have removed him from office. And that's the thing that's like frustrating, because they try to convince us that, oh no, everything is equal and equitable and everything is right, and Obama would have been treated the same. They gave that man the blues about a tan suit. When I say the blues, they gave that man the blues about a tan suit. And our current president is mentioned over 1 million times in the unredacted files, basically cozying up to one of the world's worst humans ever. And that person that is no longer here said that Trump was one of the worst people that he has ever met. Think about that. Think about the man in those files, because YouTube loved to suppress stuff. But think about the man in those files saying that this president is the worst person he's ever met. Coming from Satan himself. Because that man, all of the things that he has done to young girls, he was obviously working for the devil. And for that person to say that this person was one of the worst people he's ever met. We living through some crazy times, y'all. Crazy. Anthony said, yes, I agree with term limits. Yeah, there is too many of them. It's too many of them just sitting up there getting rich. don't care anything about their constituents, don't even visit their districts, don't do town halls or anything. Think about John Cornyn. John Cornyn has been the senator in Texas, I think they said for 24 years. I think because he's running for reelection now. Again, Ken Paxton, which has a very nefarious past himself, but he's running for reelection against him. And I believe he's been there for four, because senators get 6 years. I think he's been there for 4 terms. He's been there for 24 years. Just imagine 24 years. And Texas is still in the same predicament, like they still in the same state that they've always been in. Remember, their senators go on vacation when they have natural disasters, because we've seen Ted Cruz several times. Anytime some shit go down in Texas, he get on a flight. He be like, I ain't got time for this. And they keep voting for him. They keep voting for him. It's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. Motivated Salmon, listen to Rosalind Bureau, served as CEO of Walmart Sam's. I'm pretty sure I probably pronounced it wrong. She breaks down diversity and inclusion during her session on masterclass. She speaks on innovation. If y'all get a chance, check her out. Okay. Oh, she's the CEO. Okay. I want to see her switch roles with somebody who makes $7 an hour. Anthony said Walmart CEO compensation 27.4. Is that a year? How much is he worth, like, period? Do he make 27.4 million in a year? Because I'm interested to look up their net worth, like how much they're actually worth, not how much they make in a year. Because those people can make $30 million in a year, but they be worth like 500 million. And I have no idea. I don't know how much you make. I don't know. But I know if you CEO of Walmart, and the owner, well, if you're the owner of Walmart, you got a whole lot of money. CEO's 27 million is a whole lot of money too. So that person has a whole lot of money. I just want to see somebody who's worth 20 million, 50 million, however many million, switch places with somebody who makes $7 an hour. Anthony said the CEO of most companies would check out of here because of stress. Yeah, they wouldn't know what to do. Like, literally, think about this. Like, if their car break down, they probably wouldn't even know, like, where's the tire shop? How do I get to a tire shop? Because when you have that much money, people do things for you. You make a call and my car is not working, and somebody come and get your car and go fix your car or whatever. So it's like, imagine the CEO of Walmart having to, like, a blowout on the expressway. And like trying to figure out how I'm gonna get my car fixed. Mind you, how you gonna get your car fixed? And you only got $40 until Friday. And today, Monday, you only got $40 to Friday. And you're trying to get your car fixed because you just had a flat tire or a blowout on the expressway. Those people literally wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Because for many years, they never had to worry about things like that. Or you got to think about it. And there's a argument to be had, or not even an argument, I would say a debate to be had, where people is just like, if you don't have money, if you don't have resources, then you shouldn't be having kids. I agree. However, people have kids. But think about, you have a child or you have 2 kids and you make $11 an hour. And you're trying to, childcare is extremely expensive. You absolutely have to go to work because you have to feed the child. Like, think about those type of hardships that people that are sitting in Washington and been sitting there for 30 years never begin to understand. These people are not poor. They're not middle class. Think about the fact that for SNAP, they allocate $6 a day for people on SNAP to eat. But our Congress people who work when they want to work, because Mike Johnson send them home every chance he gets, they get like $75 a day or $100 a day for food. And they're giving their constituents $6 a day. And most of the time, these people don't even work. Mike Johnson, since the Speaker of the House basically like has given his power to the executive branch, Congress like go home, like they literally be in session for like 2 weeks, and then they go home for like 3 months, and they're still eating off us while they're at home. Very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. Anthony said, "Oh, I got rid of Damien. Good, thank you, because Damien was gonna get cursed out." Motivated said, "Come on, Anthony, you know the answer to that." Stress. I think that's what she's talking about. Wait, I'm way behind. I'm sorry, y'all. Wait, okay. So motivated said, "Oh boy." Anthony said, "Motivated. They are just ridiculous." Wait, let me see. Did I miss something? The CEO Walmart compensation 27.4. I thought I read everything. Let me see. Anthony justify. Yeah. Remember, I think it was on y'all know Dean, right? The young kid. He was like, he does this thing where, and I kind of wanted to do that, but I was like, child, I ain't saved enough because I've been cursing people out. But he does this thing where he like debate Trump supporters and they call in and, they say whatever. And one guy, my right-handed guy, did I put it on my short or something? I don't know. But they were talking about the files and they were talking about what was accused, like what was said in the files, like who was accused. And one guy got on the phone and was just like, so what's so bad about it? And Dean was like, are you saying what's so bad about being with the kid? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh my, I couldn't believe, I almost dropped my phone and broke my freaking phone. I couldn't believe that. But let me tell y'all this. Are you guys noticing that a lot of people, the January 6ers, a lot of people that were pardoned, some of them have gone to jail for the things that was alleged in those files. So these are people who was at January 6th, who did all of that atrocious, crazy stuff that was pardoned by this president. And now that they're out on the street, they're now being rearrested for those type of crimes. Isn't that sick? Like, what does that, I'm telling y'all, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. We're living through some crazy times. Like, and sometimes I be like, I'm just sitting like, not enough people are angry. Not enough people are angry. Not enough people are, I don't know. Crazy, Anthony, it just said total compensation. Oh, so she's worth 27.4 million. Oh, okay, but that's still a whole lot of money. I want her to, because I would think that, well, she's the CEO, not the founder. She's not the owner of Walmart. But still, that's a whole lot of money. So her 27.4 million, she has to, switch lives with a cashier. I want to see. Then maybe, she understands and she sympathizes and empathizes with the plight of, everyday people. Maybe, that's, she's a good person and all of those things. But just from having access to money and resources from that perspective, let's see a CEO of a company have to live off the salary of a cashier. I would watch that because I would want to see how they navigate. I literally would want to see how they do. Anthony said, let me look it up. Anthony said, remember, Walmart is cheap would pay for workers. Yeah. And was it Walmart or Amazon? One of the, it was one of those really big chains that said that their employees were suing them because they wouldn't allow them to go to the bathroom or something. That was a couple of years ago, but, excuse me. That was a couple of years ago, but I believe it was was it Amazon or Walmart? But they had a lawsuit against them because their employees was basically saying that they need to be relieved. Like, you can't, if you're on a register or whatever, you're working as a cashier, you're on a register, you can't just be like, okay, hey, can I turn my light off? I have to go to the bathroom. Somebody got to come and relieve them. So apparently it was a lawsuit saying that like people were getting in trouble for going to the bathroom because nobody was coming to relieve them. And I think it was like Amazon. I think it was Amazon. But if you guys look it up, it was like a couple of years back. One of those companies got sued for something like that. Like they weren't allowing them to go to the bathroom. Imagine being an adult and somebody telling you can't go pee because you got to stand at your register. Like, you know what? I just be thinking about stuff. I'm like, I swear I be sitting here thinking about so much. And I was just listening to Megyn Kelly go on and on about how this war is whatever. And I'm like, well, you knew he was a really awful person, and you are an awful person as well. And so now this was your, like, this is it for you. Like, this is where you jump off the bandwagon when he's done so many atrocious, vile things. And like Sonny Hostin has said on The View, it's very easy to get into a war. It's very hard to get out of a war. And now it seems like Donald Trump is frustrated because he can't get out. Because I think he thought, and I seen someone say this, I think it was either CNN or MSNBC, but they were basically saying he thought that this was going to be easy like Venezuela. But the fact that he thought Venezuela and Iran were the same, because he was able to go into Venezuela, he was able to get Maduro, and he was able to say, look at what I've done. Now, as far as him thinking it's a regime change, from my understanding, first of all, Venezuela and Iran are completely different. I know a little bit about international and all this stuff. I know a little bit about that, but I know enough that Venezuela and Iran is different. And now that he's asking our allies to step in and they're saying, no, thank you. The fact that he's confused by that, why would you be confused by that? When you came into office, putting tariffs on everybody, disrespecting people, talking bad to people, telling people they're third rate and they're losers and the United States don't need anybody. It's like, now that you've disrespected all these people, now you need their help. You're like, oh, okay, well, y'all need to help us. What? And like I said, and Sonny said this too, and I'm like, that's the perfect way to explain it. People in other countries, like other heads of state, it's like, that's y'all clown. That's not our circus. We're not interested in that. Like, I was watching on CNN and they were showing like other nations, like how much they disapprove of this conflict with Iran. All of our allies disapprove of this. Like, that's the thing. And I was telling my coworker, because she said something regarding the Constitution. She said, well, this is unconstitutional. I said, yeah, it's unconstitutional, and it's illegal. But he's done so many things that has been unconstitutional. And people are going to come into like this live, and people come into my comments and they were like, well, Obama did it, where Bush did it. Other presidents have declared war without congressional approval, but they had approval in other ways. They didn't have a congressional approval, which they should have. It was wrong when they did it as well. But Donald Trump didn't go to anyone, not even our allies. He didn't speak with anyone. He just decided to do this. And now we're in the middle of it, and like not even in the middle, because at first he was saying, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, going to be 4 weeks. And now he's basically like, oh, we're going to be there until until we win. Well, wasn't that like the same language and rhetoric that happened with Iraq? And we were there for more than 20 years and spent trillions of dollars while we have veterans that are homeless, while we're defunding SNAP and Medicaid. So we can't feed Americans. We can't feed Americans, but we can spend $1 billion a day on a war that has absolutely nothing to do with us. Oh, Walmart CEO between 250 million, 541. Yeah. Yeah, see, that is a whole lot. Think of that. You worth $541 million, and now you have to live off $7 an hour. And when you go to work, you got to stand on your feet for 8 hours to make that $7, $8, $9, $10, whatever it is. I think that person would probably rather not be here. But that's what they'll pay their employees. Oh, yep. Anthony said Congress votes on their own raising. Yep. Motivated said I brought up is it Rosalind? Rosalind, because she is a black woman who ran Sam's, Walmart, Starbucks, Walgreens, and she speaks on the different standards and working in a space where she's at times was not respected. Oh, okay. I need to look into her. 2026 and still having these kind of problems. Never enough forget to mention she's a scientist. When I say she brings it, and they cannot handle it. Yeah, I need to get into her. I need to look into her. Sick on so many levels. Sick on so many levels. Anthony said truly sick. Motivated said, I think people are angry, just don't know what to do with the anger. Yeah, I mean that can be true. Um, yeah. But you know what I'm afraid of, because I think because we see how like bad things are going, we automatically think the midterms are in the bag, but I don't think so, which is unfortunate, because over 70% of the country say that, over 70% of Americans say the country's on the wrong track. But it's going to depend. I don't know. Because what I can say is that Democrats have been winning a lot of special elections, but this is going to be my issue with Democrats. And I was having a conversation with my coworker about this. If Democrats get in office and they start just being ineffective, and they start just, if they mess it up, because the Democrats, they like to mess shit up, they really do. They're horrible with messaging. They start to elect people that the middle of the country is not going to vote for. If they do that, then people are going to feel like they're both equally as bad. I do not think that the Democrats are equally as bad as the Republicans. I don't think that at all. But I think the Democratic Party sometimes mess things up. They do not support their messengers. They don't support your AOCs. They've played AOC. They've played Jasmine Crockett. They've played Jamie Raskin. The people who are the fighters, the people who are the messengers, the people who are really going to go out there and unapologetically speak their truth, they don't get behind those people. The Democrats it's like this old establishment, the same old, same old. If they do that, that's going to be really bad, because people want change. People want a fighter. People want somebody who is not going to just kind of like fall in line. If they do this whole business as usual and all of that, the Democratic coalition is not going to be happy with that. So I think they're going to try to run somebody very safe, right? I would like to see now, okay, because I had a conversation with my coworker about this. I like Gavin Newsom. I like him. But a lot of people in California don't. And if the governor cannot get support from his own, and you guys let me know what you think about this, because I'm still kind of thinking through this myself. I like Gavin Newsom. I think he's a good messenger. I think that aesthetically, optically, he'll, because people are into optics. He's a nice looking man. He speaks well for the most part. He seems very relatable. All of those things. He's like a street fighter too. He's kind of Trump, but younger and like more attractive. So he is like a person who is just going to say what it is and all of those things, right? So I'm like, okay, Gavin Newsom, I can get behind Gavin Newsom. Like, I gotta really get into his policies and stuff like that, but I can get behind him right now. Like, what I know of him right now, I can get behind him. But a lot of people in California do not like him. And if a person cannot win their own state, I don't know if I think people who are like myself, people who are progressive, people who are more left leaning, I think we can get on board. But you got to remember, the way our electoral college is set up, we got 6 states that really determine who's going to win an election. And I don't believe those 6 states are going to vote for Gavin Newsom. Remember, what is it? Georgia, how am I forgetting? And any other time I'll just be able to spell it out. The 6 states is it South Carolina, North Carolina? It's North Carolina. And it's Georgia. It's Arizona. I can't believe I'm forgetting. Minnesota. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's Michigan. It's Michigan. Is it Michigan, Minnesota, Georgia? Dang, I'm blanking on it. And normally I'll be able to rattle it off. I can't think of it right now. But we have 6 or 7 states, right, that kind of determine who's going to win the election. I don't think those states are going to vote for Gavin Newsom. I wish they would, but I don't think they are going to. And because of that, it's like we need to put up someone who's going to win. And right now, but I mean, 2028 is a long time, but right now, I don't see a person that I'm like is going to be appealing to all of America. A lot of people are going to look at Gavin like he's too to the left. So I don't know. He brings the swag. Oh, I think I got to go up. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a, oh, wait. He thought that, how far do I got to go up? Okay, 2026 still have, oh, okay, I read that. Sick on so many levels, truly sick. I think people are angry. Okay, I read that. She gets on the front line with the people. She did not make one change until she spoke with the people first. Okay, I need to get into her because she seemed like she's good. And I wish I already knew about her, but I definitely need to look into her. Anthony, he thought that because he doesn't know anything about history and geography, I don't know why he would ever think that Iran was gonna be as easy as Venezuela. I don't know what would make him. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a little distracted because Lola keeps trying to sneak in my room. Come on, Mama. It's okay. Come on. She broke my YSL glasses. I can't believe it. I went to drop my car off and come back and my glasses was in the middle of the floor. Okay, you guys, I'm back. No, I don't want any hugs or anything like that. We're not cool. I just know that you want to be in the room, but we're not cool. So you get back. You broke my glasses. Move, Lola. I'm still upset with you. I can't believe you did that. Wait, hold on, you guys. When I open this window, you don't start barking because I'm going to put you out again. She likes to look out the window, but then want to bark at every dog that walk past. And we live in a dog neighborhood. Like, I feel like every house has at least one dog. Some houses have several dogs. But she get the barking, and I have to close the window because she's interrupting my neighbors. Okay, so let me get, she does, okay, I read that one. He thought he had, motivated says, it always look at, it always look at what I've done when it comes to him. Hell, he doesn't know anything about anything. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot of faith in the Dems, but I'm hanging in there with them. They got to take it up 100. Yes. And that's the thing. Like, I always say that. I'm like, Democrats love to mess things up. Like, I remember when, and you know what, they make me mad all the time. But when AOC, there was talks about AOC basically taking Schumer's place, and Schumer needs to go. I am very, very, very disappointed in Chuck Schumer, but I am disappointed in why am I blanking? What is his name, you guys? Please help me out because I can't believe I'm blanking on it. Hakeem Jeffries. I'm unhappy with him too. I'm unhappy with him. It's just like Democratic leadership sucks. The people who are the fighters, the people who are really, and you know who I miss? Katie Porter. I used to love her. But your Jasmine Crockett's, your AOC's, your Jamie Raskins, like those people who are very effective messengers, they don't get behind them. They have people in leadership that's not doing anything. And so it's like, because think about this. Even think about the messaging. How can you not effectively message against Donald Trump? He is one of the worst humans ever. And it's like, we already know that, but it's just kind of like Democrats, their approval ratings is as low as his. So how do you not message your way into looking better than one of the worst people we've ever seen take office in life? Like, they just seem so, I don't even know how to explain it. Let me see. We don't need safe. Yeah, we don't need safe. And I want someone that's progressive. I want someone that is going to make sure to take care of poor and needy people and all of those things. But because of the Electoral College, those 7 states that I cannot believe I'm blanking on, I think it's North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Georgia. I can't believe I'm blanking on it because but Though I don't believe that those states are going to vote for a Gavin Newsom. They're definitely not going to vote for AOC. They're definitely not going to vote for Jasmine Crockett. They're definitely not going to vote for, I would say, and I don't think Jamie Raskins has any like goal or anything to be president. He probably would have a better shot because he's an older guy and he's white, and we know what country we live in. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just be honest. He will have a, even though I feel like Jasmine Crockett and AOC are better messengers, they're women of color. They are phenomenal. They've been doing the work. They have the right platform, but they're women of color. And we know what country we live in. So Jamie Raskin will have a better shot. I think Gavin Newsom have a shot from that perspective. But when people hear California, they think of the most liberal place ever. And even people in California are not happy with him. So I'm like, that kind of knocks him out. And then, well, I'm not going to say concretely, I can't say that, but I think about someone like Mayor Pete. I think Pete Buttigieg is a phenomenal candidate, but this country has an issue with homophobia. There are certain people who are not going to vote for him because he has a husband. I remember when he was running for president, there was a woman who listened to his like stump speech and listened to him speak and was like, "Oh, he's so smart and he speaks different languages and he's a vet and he's super whatever wonderful." And they asked the woman, "What do you think about him having a husband?" She was like, "He's gay." And they're like, "Yeah." And they were in one of those things where it's like a town hall where it's like a focus group. And so they weren't really voting, but they gave everybody in the focus group like their papers, whether or not they would support this person. And there was this woman who loved Pete Buttigieg. Like he ran down his resume, how he speak different languages, how he's a Rhodes Scholar, how he's a vet, how he's this and that and that and that. She loved him. Thought that he was brilliant, thought that he was a good man, a good person, very smart, had the right, decorum about everything. She loved him. And then when they asked her the question, "What do you think about him having a husband, or what do you think about him being gay?" She said she wouldn't vote for him because who he go to bed with, which is not her fucking business. But because in this country, people feel like, and I don't understand why they don't understand that judging is also sinful. So you may think, according to you and according to your beliefs and your ideologies, me going to bed with the same sex is bad. That's your right to believe that. You can believe that, but you judging me is also bad too. But we're going to forgive that sin because we want to focus on the fact that you think my life is sinful, not the fact that you're judging me for my life. And that's a sin as well. But I digress. So Pete is great. But I mean, and he has some issues. He has some issues with the Black community, saying that he wasn't really kind of like paying attention to their needs and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother story. But I remember that one time when they had that little mock town, whatever they call it. But they had that, and that woman who thought the world of him. And then the minute they said that, she was like, "Oh, I can't vote for him." It's like, because who he take to bed, which is not your business. About Pete or Gavin. See, that's what I'm behind. I'm sorry, y'all. Motivated said he bring the swag, but I need more. Right, that part. Anthony said, right, Motivated. I think trying to be safe all the time is not good. No, because we get the same thing, the same old business as usual. We need some risk, go big or go home. Absolutely. And we need some real changes in this country. Like, we need somebody who's really gonna come and like change the big issues that we have, not somebody who's just gonna talk. True, Motivated, that's how it goes. And investing too, safe investments don't bring in a dramatic earnings. Exactly. Motivated saying, I was thinking about investments too. LOL. Motivated, she wants to make up with you for breaking the wine glasses. Forgive her already, Angel. No, they weren't my YSL glasses. Like, not a wine glass. She broke my sunglasses. And I literally, Lola is 3 years old. Like, she's out of that puppy being bad stage. And I am very, very, what do you call it? I'm very emotional with my dogs. I'm very nurturing and loving, and I'm always hugging them and always kissing them. And she think like she do something bad, and I'm just supposed to hug her and love on her. And it's like, no, I'm mad right now. I'll be over it in like an hour, but I'm still mad she broke my glasses. Anthony said, Lola, knock it off. We're trying to do a show here. I know. That's the reason why I was reading the comments, and then I would stop and look, because she's standing outside the door like I did something wrong to her. I went to drop my car off at CarMax. I come and my YSL sunglasses in the middle of the floor, and one of the things is broken off of it. And so Bentley, you guys know Bentley is my 8-year-old. When he know he did something wrong, he runs. Like as soon as I come in the door, he'll run upstairs. He didn't run, so I knew he didn't do it. And then he's 8 years old. He don't do stuff like that anymore. Like when it's anything with my shoes, my socks, or anything, it's Lola, because Lola thinks life is a game. And so she, like, I'm looking at my glasses, and she just standing there looking at me like, okay, so now what happens? So I came upstairs because I was like, I don't even want to yell and fuss and all of that. I came upstairs and I was in my room. I lit my candle. I got on live with you guys. So I just told her, when she tried to come in my room, get out of my room. Don't come in my room. I'm mad at you. So she gonna come and stand in the doorway all while I'm talking. And then when I was like not paying attention, she started like scratching on something, trying to get my attention. Like, I'm still standing right here. Girl, she better leave me alone. I think Anthony said, I hate the way Schumer wears his glasses. Schumer need to go home and just retire. You already got money. Go sit down. I just want him to go sit down. Mother said, yes, he looks crazy, Schumer, but they give Trump a pass on all his mess. Yes. And you know what? But here's the thing. Regarding this war, I believe the reason we're not hearing anything from the Democrats, because I believe people like Schumer are in favor. Because you got to remember, Lindsey Graham got on Fox News and was like, and I'm like, think about how insensitive that is. He get on Fox News, we're going to blow this and we're going to do this. And I'm like, you're talking about people's children. Like, you're sending, like, remember, Lindsey Graham, you ain't got no kids. You don't have anybody that you're sending over to the war. But you're going to send somebody else child to fight and then talk about it so cavalierly. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You're talking about other people's children that has to go fight because you don't have a son to send. Maybe he could send his boyfriend. You know what? Child. But they give Trump motivated. Y'all, it's my bedtime and I'm in these YouTube streets. I got to work in the morning. Good night. Good night, sister. If you're still here, I'm sorry. I got behind in the comments. I'm very, very sorry. But thank you very much for being here. And get you some sleep. I'll catch you in these YouTube streets. But thank you very much for being here. I don't know if you left already. I love Motivated. She's so super supportive. Anthony, you are too. Motivated, take care. Anthony said I have to work in the morning too early. I know. I need to get up at 3:30 because I try to beat traffic. Oh, you mean Rev Linda Grant? Right. Maybe he can send his boyfriend. Since he's talking about he's all in favor of this war. Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he can enroll or he can send his boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. But the way that they just speak about it, like it's like almost like a joke. It's like you guys are sending people's children over there to fight a war that has nothing to do with the United States of America. And you talk about it so cavalierly, like, oh, yeah, well, we're going to just do this. Well, Lindsay, are you going? Please let me know. And I never really agree with Meghan McCain, but I definitely agree with her when she said it's just like a person with no children. No, like, for you to say so nonchalantly that you are in favor of sending other people's kids to fight. You don't have any children to send. And it's like with Lindsay, I always think with him, it's like, what is your real personality? Who are you? Because when John McCain was alive, you was all up John McCain's butt. Now it's like John McCain is no longer here. Now you all up in Trump's butt. It's like he don't stand on his own 2 feet. It's like he's always under another man. And from my understanding, that's the way he lives his life. But I digress. But yeah, I can't believe I've been on for 85 minutes. So I don't know. I wanted to, instead of making a video, I just kind of wanted to get on live and talk a little bit about everything that's going on in this country. Um, Gas prices. The gas down the street from my house yesterday was 3.69. Today is 3.99. Before it got to 3.69, I think it was 2.97. I think it was 2.97. Um, what's today? Today is Tuesday, right? I think it was 2.97 maybe last Friday. Cause normally I fill up on Fridays. I think it was 2.97 last Friday or maybe last Thursday. I can't remember. Then it went to 3.69. It was 3.69 yesterday. And today I drove past, it was 3.99. So I just, and I literally don't know why we're in this war. And this administration don't think enough of its citizens to explain why we're here. Anthony said, I'm glad I'm getting gas on the company car. I bet you are. I wish I was. Because remember, my commute is with traffic. I mean, without traffic, because, I get to work really early. Without traffic, my commute is 50 minutes. So I have to drive 50 minutes without traffic every day. Now, when I hit traffic, it's easily an hour and 20 minutes back and forth. And I drive a Mercedes to work because that's the car. That's my commuter car right now. So gas is tearing me up. And it's like I said, this administration hasn't even come out and explained to the American people, why are we here? Why? Anthony, I'm ashamed to say how far I drive to my job. I see, not, what's so crazy? I love my job from I'm at a job where it's just like, for the most part. Now I have days that like people get on my nerve, or I have days that things are not working. But for the most part, it's cool. So it's like, I don't want to leave my job, but my commute is literally, if I leave out of here at 4:30, if I leave out of my house at 4:30, I'll get to work at like 5, maybe 5:20, 5:25. That's 4:30 in the morning when there is no traffic. If I oversleep and I wake up at like 6 o'clock, oh my God. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be in traffic for 2 hours. Especially that morning traffic. Because I get off so early, it don't be that bad. But in the morning, like that 6 a.m., 7 a.m. traffic is insane. You drive 3.5 miles? I'm jealous. It's like right around the corner compared to how far I have to drive. 3.5, I can walk 3.5 miles. You're blessed. Like, you're very, very blessed. Very, very, very blessed, because Lord, my job, yes, it is super close. 3.5 miles is like nowhere. But you know what? Here's the thing. When I lived closest to my job, I was late all the time. Cause you overestimate how much time you have. I'm like, it ain't gonna take that long. I could lay down for another 20 minutes. Like, I used to try to get every little bit of sleep I can get. So it's like, oh, I can lay down for 20 more minutes. But now, because I know it's gonna be like, I jump up because it's like I don't want to hit traffic. Like, feeling like I'm gonna be stuck in traffic is like the worst. I jump up so fast. I'm like, no way. I'm not gonna allow myself to get stuck in traffic. Anthony said the job before this was 23 miles one way. I think my job is, I don't know how many miles my job is. I don't know. I don't know how far it is, but I mean, how many miles it is, but I'm so used to it. I swear, I just usually in the morning, of course, I'm watching like, a lot of politics stuff, or I'll normally, if I feel like the previous day was too heavy, I like to listen to pranks. And I like to listen to prank. Am I the only one that listens to stuff that I already like watched? I'll listen to like pranks and stuff like that. I love BJTV. I love I forgot, E Realist and his wife. Hey, Crystal. Y'all, Crystal in the building. I love Crystal, y'all. Um, Crystal saying hello to the chat. Hey, Crystal, I was just in here running my mouth about, you know, all this crazy stuff, the state of our nation, the fact that our allies is like, no, thank you. So ain't nobody coming to help us. Um, Anthony speaking to Crystal. And I also, and you know what? And when I was talking to my coworker, I was saying that too. When I was talking about Pete Buttigieg, I was just like, I would love for Pete to run, but there's a lot of people that are not going to vote for Pete because he has a husband. And she was just like, well, people will say, well, I think that the country is more progressive than that. The country don't really care. The country would absolutely vote for a woman. It just has to be the right woman. Each woman that ran against Donald Trump was much more accomplished than he was smarter, everything, and the country didn't vote for them. Hillary Clinton, yes, I guess people say she has baggage, but what they really mean is that her husband had baggage and his baggage dragged her down. So what is the excuse regarding that? Like Hillary Clinton was a very, very accomplished, intelligent, smart woman. The country didn't vote for her. Kamala Harris was a very intelligent, smart woman. The country didn't vote for her. Like, in regards to like what like they'll win. So when people say things like, oh, I don't think the country would care about Pete Buttigieg being gay, yeah, they will. Just like they care about the fact that women have uteruses, and they like to say things like, oh, women are too emotional. Are you experiencing what we're going through right now with this president? You're talking about emotional. You're talking about unhinged. It's like the audacity. But people keep voting for him. And his base, that little 30%, 35%, if they could, they'll vote for him again. But if they want to like just do away with the Constitution and let Trump run for a third term, then I guess we can get Obama to run for a third term. But I think Michelle would divorce him if he tried to run for a third term. I don't think Michelle wants anything to do with the White House or Washington. Anthony said no one is more emotional than Ronald Trump. I Anthony, I told when my coworker was just like, oh, well, I don't think people would be so concerned about the fact that Pete is gay. I'm like, what? Okay. Just like they had a debate on The View months ago, and Sarah Haynes and Alyssa Farah Griffin was saying that they absolutely believe that the country will vote for a woman. Unfortunately, I don't think this country is ready to vote for a woman. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think this country would elect a woman to be president? I had to give me some water. Let me see what you guys think. Anthony, are you still on here? Do you think the country will vote for a woman to be president? Or Crystal? Anthony said, not anytime in the next few elections. Exactly. I don't like people like to kind of push this, like, push this narrative that the country is more progressive than it actually is. Maybe 20 years from now. Maybe, yeah. Because when people say it needs to be the right woman, like, and they say, well, Hillary has so much baggage. Okay, so what Kamala, it was like people complained about her laugh. It's like they were just trying to find, things to say because they didn't want to concretely say, oh, she's a person of color, so we can't. It's like they want to do the bigoted thing, but they just don't want to be slapped with the title of being a bigot. Maybe 20 years. Yeah, maybe 20 years. But we've already had two women that ran against Donald Trump that were much more intelligent, much more accomplished, Much like, seems like much better humans, and the country voted for Donald Trump. Yep, Anthony. Anthony said if the country was progressive as a whole, there will be more outrage and raising hell about Trump. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Even with think about all of this, because even with the Iran war and stuff like that, it's like with your Tucker Carlsons and your Megyn Kelly and stuff, they will criticize Donald Trump, but they're not going to go far. Like they would literally go after Lindsey Graham and Mark Levine and all of these people. They would say really, really, really horrible things about them and really like go after those people. But with Donald Trump, they're like, oh well, we feel like he's just being misguided. Like it's like they never ever have the same energy with him. And I think, like I said, I don't think it's because they love him. I don't think it's because they think he's a good president. I think their proximity to power or whatever purpose they believe he can serve for them. That's what it's about. And everybody knows that they can just kind of use him. Like I said, they can just kind of, it's the same thing with the child. It's like they have a fealty, or they have like a, I don't know, it's like it's what they want from him. It's like, well, I know if I play nice, then his base will support me and I will get more views. Because you have to be honest, Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson are extremely, extremely successful. They make millions of dollars by being content creators, by just literally picking up a microphone and talking. And it's because they know how to kind of like smooth, like, they don't have any self-respect, I guess you would call it, because they're not going to say, oh, I'm going to just stick to my principles and my true values and say what I truly feel. No, it's like, this is what MAGA wants me to say for them to support me and love me and watch my stuff and give me the views. Then I'm going to say and believe and think whatever. Because even though I feel like Megyn Kelly has always been a horrible person, she wasn't this bad. The way that she is now, like this, she's progressively got more unhinged in the last couple of years. She wasn't that bad. She was almost tolerable before now. And now it's just, you listen to her and you like, you need some Ritalin or something. Like, so like Anthony, they still support him. They support him, but I think it's just like a pay for play. I think it's just a matter of, I need his base. I can't completely go after him because I need his base. Because the one thing his base is going to do, they're going to be on every video and comment and go after people. And they're going to support whoever is like in proximity to him. And so with Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, because they are content creators and they want the millions of views and all of that, they need to have an allegiance to him because they want his base. I don't think they have like much respect, because remember, after his first term, when he left office, remember Tucker Carlson was, when Fox got sued for the 787.5 million, they revealed like text messages and stuff in court that Tucker Carlson was talking like really, really horrible about Donald Trump. So they revealed all of those things. He was saying that Trump was a narcissist. He said that Trump was an egomaniac. He said like these really bad, nefarious things about Donald Trump. And all of that stuff got revealed in court when they had to go to court for that 787, when they had to do the settlement with Dominion. So all of that stuff came out, how poorly Tucker Carlson was talking about Donald Trump, calling him an egomaniac and he's a narcissist and all this other stuff. And remember, like I said previously in this live, JD Vance called him America's Hitler. They all have said really, really horrible, strong things about Donald Trump. But what they see is, we need his base. We need his people. And the reporter that basically confronted JD Vance about his rhetoric about the war. He was like, you didn't support this. You were very, very much against this war. What changed? JD Vance like, oh, you're just trying to cause a wedge between me and the president. No, I'm trying to make you be intellectually honest and basically uphold what you said previously. I'm not trying to cause a wedge, because now you go from saying you don't support this at all, you don't support regime change, you think this is really, really, really bad for the country, and now you're on board. So we're asking you, why the drastic difference? And you're not able to articulate that because you don't care about anything. You only care about power. And now that you have a little bit of power and you believe that you are going to be president next because you believe that MAGA is transferable, which I don't believe. Now you can't say anything that you've said previously because all you care about is power. And the fact that you think that you are next in line to be president. And I think, like I said, I think the rude awakening is going to be the fact that cults are not transferable. They love the leader. They love the cult leader. They don't automatically be like, okay, well, Trump can't be president no more. We're just going to go over to JD Vance. I don't think it's going to work out that way. That's just me personally. I can be wrong, but I just don't think it's going to work that way. And like I said before, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to stick to it, I believe there's a section of people in MAGA that will not vote for JD Vance because his wife is Indian. I believe that wholeheartedly. So the fact that JD Vance think he's playing his cards right, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna just do whatever the president say. I mean, he's the VP, so the VP, their job is literally to just kind of mimic the president and do whatever the president want and whatever the president say. That's kind of the role of a VP anyway. I mean, you can take your job and make it your own, but for the most part, that's what they do. Just whatever, you just kind of say what the president say. But the fact that he think that that's going to transfer, that MAGA is transferable, I just don't think it's transferable. JD is a fool too. Yeah, but he thinks, and it's so weird because even during like the campaign and stuff like that, I was so surprised that Trump kept him on, because remember, JD was getting a whole lot of bad publicity about a lot of things. A lot of things that he said in the past about Donald Trump. The fact that he was more I wouldn't ever say that he was left leaning, because I don't ever believe that he was left leaning, but his I think it was his college roommate was a trans person, and said that JD Vance actually helped her with her transition, and that he was very supportive. He was such a good person. He was like I remember she was on CNN while they were on the campaign trail. She was like, this is a completely different person. And I was friends with him for years. I literally don't know this person. And that's because he got some power and abandoned, apparently, every ideology he had previous to getting power. Or that type of power, because he was a senator. So he had power before. But being the vice president is much different. So, but I think JD Vance, Marco Rubio, I believe they think that MAGA is transferable. And they're like, oh, if we suck up to Trump and do whatever Trump wants, then his base is going to love us. And I don't think it's going to work out like that for them. But we will see. So, okay, you guys, I've been on for a while. It's almost 8 o'clock. I got to get up super duper early to go to work. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about the state of this nation, everything that's going on. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video in the morning. To be honest, I'm tired. And what I wanted to make a video about, I feel like it's going to not take a long time, but I will have to do more research and I want to go to bed. So that's probably not going to happen. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for talking to me, engaging, interacting, all of those things. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I said I wanted to do this consistently, but I swear, y'all, every time I say I'm going to do something and whatever, and the next day I don't feel like doing it. It's like once I make myself obligated to something, then I'm like, I don't want to do it. So, Anthony said, take care, Andrew. You too, Anthony. Thank you very, very much for always being here. Thank you for being so supportive. I truly appreciate it. Good to see you. It's good to see you as well. I promise you, in my mind, I'm like, I just want to like every day, like do a live and just kind of talk about the events of the day or what's going on or what's on my mind. But the minute I make it an obligation and I say I'm going to do it every day, I'm not going to want to do it. So I don't want to do that to myself, and I don't want to do that to you guys. But thank you guys very, very much for being here. And I will talk to you guys later. Check out, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Check out some of the content. And you guys have a good night. Bye, y'all.